On June 1st, 1921, the Tulsa, Oklahoma neighborhood known as Greenwood was looted and burned to the ground by a white mob. 35 city blocks were destroyed, and 300 people are believed to have lost their lives. 2 days earlier, an encounter between a black man and a white woman in a downtown elevator sparked a confrontation between whites and blacks, which resulted in the destruction of one of the nation's most successful black neighborhoods, famously known as Black Wall Street. As we approached the 100th anniversary of the massacre, we wanted to meet and hear the voices of those who live and work in the Greenwood neighborhood. With that, we present Greenwood, Here and Now.
So joining us now is Mr. Lincoln Cochran, a man who needs no introduction, but we'll give him one anyway. Lincoln, from what I understand, you know a little bit about the history of Greenwood. In fact, one might even say you know a lot about the history of Greenwood.
I have worked for the past decade in Tulsa to create more experiences where people can engage that history, and in that work it has brought me so much joy and knowledge to share, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, Lincoln, tell me a little bit more about this, like what the specific role is for you, and you know, just what it's like to sort of share these stories and I guess make them more of an experience than they previously were.
About 5 years ago, I created a thought in my artistic mind that, my goodness, wouldn't it be wonderful to have an experience to walk through that you would see at any, history center or museum, and what if it was here in historic Greenwood? And through a series of circumstances that I did not understand or know at the time, 5 years prior, I had been teaching fine art at Booker T. Washington High School when I left the School of Arts and Sciences to return home to the Hive. And while there, I was teaching IB World Art and drawing and painting, and I taught a young woman named Marva Blades, who is the daughter of, Marvin Blades Sr., and he was a police officer and then a Tulsa Schools police officer for over 50 years in Tulsa. And he passed in 2016, and he left a series of collages, there are about 18 of them, that he had made in his spare time. Now, previously, he and I had bonded in a parent-teacher conference talking about his daughter Marva's ability to draw and paint, and that's when I learned that he loved collages, and I love nostalgia. I'm an entertainment professional, so nostalgia is what I do, and I had the opportunity then to discover his work again because he had left it to the Greenwood Center Limited, which is the organization that runs the historic Greenwood buildings. And when I found them in storage, I said, this is it. And there was a hallway that's 1,000 square feet, and it was a common use hallway that no one had touched, that only businesses used for hauling things, through their back door, because, on the front side is the actual Black Wall Street, is Greenwood, is the storefronts for the businesses who are carrying on this tradition of excellence. And really, it was a present to them. It's a present to them and our community to really engage everyone and get them thinking and give them something when they come here other to do than shop. But of course, we want them to shop, but we also want them to know the significance of where they are. And that's how it all started. Right?
Yeah, Lincoln, not only is that incredible, that is just, one of those instances where you're turning kind of nothing into something, right? And especially pertaining to, you said you have an artistic mind.
Hey, I'm a black man from Oklahoma. I've been turning nothing into something my whole life. And I really, I thrive on creating experiences for people where they learn and are also entertained. And that's what I did for a decade at the helm of theater arts at Booker T. And, I have children all over the world in every major arts institution. Before Broadway closed, I had 4 children who are performing on Broadway. I've got 3 in the NFL currently. I've got Olympians, and that wasn't me, that was Booker T. I just taught them how to be their best self and to speak to other people without fear. And after I did that for a decade, this kind of, it fell into my lap, for lack of a better phrase. It's all of these opportunities kind of align themselves, and I don't know if you know this about me, but my students would tell you that I am a hoarder when it comes to theatrical props, because I would make them organize thousands of props every year. We would catalog costumes and have pictures of everything that we did so that we could know what we had to use. And, I never stopped my habit of picking up junk off the side of the road. When I left Booker T, and I didn't know what it was for, but if you believe in a higher purpose or a greater power, I know now, because everything that was in my garage is now in this hallway, and it fits seamlessly. And I'm so grateful that people like you are sharing it with us and with everyone that you reach.
Yeah, and Lincoln, that's the idea, is to tell these stories, and especially, I'm sure it gives you a certain pride too that this location is in historic Greenwood.
This is what it's all about. These buildings have traditionally, just sat here and really rotted, through mismanagement, through they're old. I mean, let's be realistic here. When these buildings were first renovated in 1979, that is still what's behind these walls in the buildings today. So you imagine how much work they truly need. And I saw, an opportunity to bring Tulsa together and the community together, and that's what I'm doing. And we're now on phase 3 of the exhibit. Phase 2 being the McFarland Special Collection, which is 120 photographs of Greenwood that no one has ever seen before. They were previously at the University of Tulsa for research purposes only, and now Phase 3 is opening upstairs, which is the Black Wall Street Alliance Art Hall, and our first guest artist for First Friday in May is Time Travel Tulsa and Patrick McNicholas. If you have not seen his work, I urge you to take a look. It is unbelievable. He takes pictures from history and aligns them with photographs of today up to the centimeter. And it's just incredible to see what he's done with the pictures that exist from Black Wall Street.
That is fascinating, and I know myself, I don't know about you, but it sounds like you are very history-minded too,
I love it. I love the Discovery Channel. I love the History Channel. I can't get enough.
I can't either, and that's what I like about this project. But what has it been like for you to sort of see this history come alive? Because that's what I like to see most. I like seeing history come alive. What has that been like for you?
The best part has been to see the young people who come through, even little kids who identify with various pieces. Now, we do have a Black Panther portion of the timeline in our 1960 to 65 era, and I am amazed how many children to this day pose in front of our Black Panther mannequin, who is dressed in his beret and leather, and make the symbol for the superhero and hold up their fist and do the cross thing over their arms. And that, to me, is what it's all about. And that connects, that generation. I would say the kids who do it to most are ones in elementary school who come through, and as soon as they hear their parents say, "Oh, that's the Black Panthers," that's the first thing that they think of. And then there's a teachable moment there to teach them about what the Black Panther organization did for the Black community, and of course what superhero is, to the world. So that is what it's all about for me, and that's what I love seeing.
It's all about things you can relate to these kids. And Lincoln, what just out of curiosity, have you seen a diverse background of people or a diverse range of people walk through this exhibit?
We have had people from 24 states, 3 countries, 2 territories of the United States, and believe me, I'm counting because I want all of the 50 states. So if you're listening to this and you are in a state other than Oklahoma and you would like something to do this summer, please come to Greenwood and share in our history in that way, because I continue to be in awe of how far the reach really is for this great place.
Do you have New Jersey yet?
No, sir. Come
okay,
on.
well, we're going to make this happen. I promise you, before I leave, I'm making this happen. I'm from New Jersey. We'll make it happen.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Perfect. Lincoln, and last couple of questions I do have for you here, when you think about the projects like your own and other projects that you see around the community of Greenwood, what are your thoughts on the current state of Greenwood?
Greenwood is in a time of transition. Now, this is the 3rd incarnation, and if Hans Christian Andersen and every storyteller is right, the 3rd time is the charm, and this will be the rise of a once incredibly resilient place that still is to this day, and people are working in every corner, whether they be at the chamber, whether they be at the Greenwood Cultural Center, whether they be at Greenwood Rising and the Tulsa 21 Commission, whether they be at the grandmother of Greenwood, Vernon AME Church. Every single one of those organizations has their eye on our future, and that is what we're all working for. And, if there is negativity in the community around what's happening, everything needs to be discussed. Don't let it fester. These kinds of discussions need to happen, because as Tulsa continues to grow, let's not forget the former Brady Arts District and the Arts District of Tulsa today is Greenwood proper. Greenwood extended from Archer all the way to Edison, from Peoria to Edison, from Archer to Apache. So that's really kind of the breadth of the scope of, a small Brooklyn, if you will, that was 4 square miles.
Yeah.
So this is the, what we really want people to understand about this place, and it's time to really have some further investment with the community's direction, with history in mind, not short-term gain.
Right, and with some of the people that I've talked to, and this is the last question I do have for you, Lincoln. Some of the people I've talked to, specifically Reuben Gant, who's helped with the John Hope Franklin Center. Their mission is to educate so many people about Greenwood. And is that sort of, would you say that's your mission as well as maybe any other things that you have in your mission?
I like to keep my focus purely on the public. Mr. Gant ran the Greenwood Chamber for a number of years, and he is currently running John Hope Franklin. They educate primarily adults about the history of Greenwood, and for me, it is about educating the future. And I mean everybody.
You know what? That is a great mission, and it sounds like, from what you've told me so far, it looks like you're well on the way of doing that. Just relating it to the kids.
One day at a time, and we just literally, through the experiential model, when you provide things, and if you look even at that horrible cliche, and it's not horrible, it's a fantastic cliche from Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will show up. Now, we need that building to be inclusive rather than a series of board decisions made by the boards that, Mr. Gant, Dr. Culver, and Phil Armstrong, and so many other organizations run. Those boards do excellent work in making and raising money. That is the job of a board. But where they are lacking is in the execution therein, and I think there is an entire future of young people who have not even realized their potential. And when turned on to the story of how it has been done before, even against all odds, at the height of segregation, with literally just the clothes on your back, and that is such a powerful message to any person.
Yeah, it truly is, and teaching the young kids is such an important thing to motivate them in that regard. Lincoln, thank you so much for taking the time out with us today and joining us here. One last thing that I'll have you do is, if you have anything else that you want to just plug, promote, or just flex on every one of us, because you do some great things and we want it to be heard.
We want to welcome every single person to Welcome Weekends in historic Greenwood East and West every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 4. The exhibits are open to the public. If you would like to get advanced ticketing and have a private tour, it is available on Eventbrite. Just search Faces of Greenwood. But as we continue through the centennial celebrations and the reverence and remembrance of everything that's happening, please come and visit and engage with your city. And part of that is Greenwood and what is happening here, really to transform this area of Tulsa. I cannot wait for First Friday in May. Do join us. I cannot wait to see what every month brings beyond the centennial, because truly what we're building is an inclusive place for everyone in our community to learn about the great history that is Greenwood and Black Wall Street. And that's not just this year. That's not just this month or next month. That is forever. And that's every day. So anytime you are in the area or want to learn more, come on down, or you can go to bwsaokla.org. And that's a website where we have a lot of information about Black Wall Street Alliance. You can get involved in what we do. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or the social media of your preference. And we cannot wait to share everyone's voice in the work of moving Greenwood, Black Wall Street, and Tulsa forward.
Lincoln, could not have said it any better myself, and that's why we are glad that you said it, and that's why we're glad that you joined us today. Lincoln, thank you so much once again for being on today. And like I said, I'm from New Jersey. I'm going to show up to there, so you can add 26 states now, I believe.
Excellent, sir. Thank you so much for having us, and do join us, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and engage in your history, no matter what it is.
Greenwood Here and Now is produced by the O'Colly Media Group. Thank you for listening.